Okay, I'm going to look at something regarding Python programming and anagrams. This is one approach to finding anagrams of a word that fit a particular pattern or have certain letters that must be present or not present, and maybe subsets of a set of letters that you have. So, for example, of an anagram, you have the word deer, and then you have dare, which both have the same number of letters in the same frequencies of each letter. One, 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 one. And so, there are ways that you could say, well, if this were a game where I had tiles and there were, I wanted to find maybe smaller combinations of the word, of the letters, to make other words that maybe we have some, unusual characters in there that don't necessarily come up, and maybe we want to use them, or maybe we don't want to use them. Depends. Well, if we want to find subsets of, uh, say, for example, a set of tiles appears um, that, then from that, let's say you want to use, you want to make sure and use E, A, R, and then possibly use D and X and Y, but nothing about Z. You don't want to use Z at all for some reason. So you can, and say 3 letters is your minimum. Well, that's certainly possible. But let's say 4 letters is your minimum. Okay, just for later illustration purposes. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to search a list of words and compare the letter frequencies that you have here, which happens to be one of each. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but in this case it is. So we have A appearing once, D appearing once, E appearing once, and so on. And so anything that we find will have for sure A, E, and R in it. So I'll make these underline just like I did here. A, E, and R. And then D, X, and Y are in the list. We're just only putting the word frequencies of the things that we're possibly or definitely going to use for convenience. And then we're going to look up the dictionary. Now, this search could definitely be optimized, but this is a basic approach that illustrates a point here, which is that you're going to need to find different subsets of these optional letters, especially if your minimum is 4 letters and you have these options here. So anything that we compare against the dictionary is definitely going to have A, E, and R appearing once each. And it may have D appearing once each, X appearing once, or Y appearing once. But that's optional. So how do we handle the option? Well, we need to make a list of these to compare against a list of the words. So in this case, then we would have a list of combinations. So we're going to say, we're going to check, we'll just put them all in there first. D, E, A, R, X, Y. So each of those appears one time. And then we would check that against this list of word frequencies over here. Or letter frequencies, I should say. Letter frequencies. So this would be actually made by taking a word list and counting the letter frequencies of that word, and then taking the next word on the list and counting the letter frequencies of that word, and so on. I'll spare you going down the entire dictionary, but we could just make an arbitrary list of words. We can just start with, for convenience, like apple, and then I'm going to say R, A-R-E, and I'm going to say, I'm making this kind of convenient for me. I mean, we could throw in something and B, and C, maybe car, and then E, A, and R are required. So yeah, car, and then C-A-R-E, care, and then dare, for example, and deer, and we'll go on, but then say like yard and year. And I'm cherry picking my words in my word list just to hurry through this example because we don't want to get too laborious on it here. But this is your letter frequency list of, it's actually a list of words. So first of all, I guess we should say a list of words, and then turn that into letter frequencies, which is pretty obvious. A1, E1, L1, P2. And obviously this is, I'll go this direction, A1, R1, and E1. Okay, I put them out of order, my bad. But it's okay. It's going to be a dictionary, so the order is not going to matter when we're looking up the key and the value for us. And then bed is B occurs once, D I should say occurs once, and then E occurs once. Car, C, I should say A occurs once, C occurs once, R occurs once. And here, C occurs once, A occurs, whoopsie, A occurs once, R comes once, and E comes once. Now, and then here, I'll try to be good about this one. A once, D once, E once, R once. Here, A once, D once, E once, R once. Surprise, surprise, right? These two are anagrams of each other, and this, you can see the letter frequencies are the same. And then we'll go with the last two. We'll say A once, D once, R once, Y once, and then here we have A once, E once, R once, Y once. All right, that's good. So we also need to make this one into Um, we're not worrying about this 4-letter business right now. That's for later. Don't get confused about that. We're looking at the 3 minimum letters that are required in here, and then we have these other options. But we're literally going to go through the entire word list, and I just happen to cherry pick some words, some good, some bad, some that will work and some that won't. So apple, well, anyway, before we get to that, now here's the point. Before we even search the word list, we've got to get our list of uh, target frequencies, our goals. Like, for example, one of the goals would be to use all of the letters. One of the targets would be to use target sets, say, would be to use all the letters. Since these all 3 are optional, but that would make a 6-letter word, which would be nice because you could score higher. And forget the 4 letters for a minute. We'll talk about that later. Maybe I should actually just X that out for a minute. And so then let's start with that one. Okay. And then we can then take off one of these and just check this, DEARX. The computer, at first, without searching the word list, isn't going to know any better that that's not a word, DEARX. And I don't know if DEARY is a word. It sounds kind of like a slang term for like somebody that you love, dearie. And then EARXY. See, I'm just taking all the combinations of the required, the EAR, which is required, and then the remaining. And since this is a set of words, the ordering doesn't matter. A set of letters, I mean. It's just your rack that has the letters on it. And you could pick them up, move them around on your rack, and there's still the same set of letters. Then here, what else do we have? EARY, EARXY, okay, EARXY. And then you might have EARXY, DEARX, DEARY. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the only ones. If it isn't, you still get the idea. And then we got to reduce that down to, yeah, I think that is correct. There's 3 ways to take out 1 letter. Now we're taking out 2 letters here, so we're going to have DEAR, which is obviously already a word. It just happens to be in that order, 1, 1, 1, 1. EARX, because that's taking away the D, but leaving the D and Y, and leaving the X. And EARY, which is taking away the D and the X and leaving the Y. And then finally, you have the letters E, A, and R. And 1, that's our minimum set. So, if my calculations here are correct, then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to check against each one of these, to check against the word list to see if you have a word that has all these letters and all the frequencies, all these letters and all the same frequency, or all these letters, and so on, all the way down to anything that has these 3 letters in the dictionary in the same frequency, not the same order, but the same frequency. So I should have put ear in there too. That would have been good. So I'm going to go ahead and further shamelessly cherry pick and put ear in there. And we have R already. So that's 1, 1, and 1, which is kind of similar to R. And I'll go ahead and point to that to save space. Do a pointer. Hopefully we don't have to do pointer arithmetic. Maybe later. Now, we're going to, so you get the idea, we go through each of these target sets of words, target letter sets, you could say. These are the letters that you're trying to pare it down, starting with the longest set, down to just your minimum set that you want to use, you care to use. And then check each one against the frequencies of the words, of the letters in the word list. So now that we've covered that, then you're going to get various combinations. So, you might have, um, if this were like your only word list here, then probably you're not going to end up with some 5-letter words, because all of mine, except for apple, are 4 or less, 4 or fewer letters. So anyway, but never mind that optimization. You would search and see if there's anything in this list that had the same exact set of letters in the same frequencies. Not necessarily in that order though, so maybe multiple ones that fit that. You're not going to probably. Uh, with these, in the real dictionary, maybe Deary's in there, not sure. But you probably aren't going to find those then. And then now we look at EARXY, you're probably not going to find that either. Anything that combines those in that order with X and Y, or any order with X and Y. This one, yeah, we already saw that. You will for sure. You'll find dare and deer. So for this target set, you find dare and deer, and possibly others. But we'll look at those two because those came to mind. And so that you can see they have the same letter frequencies as this, which has one of each. So that's 2 words already for that set of letters. You're not going to probably find anything there. You will find year here. So this one will turn up year, at least. But not yard, obviously. And so I feel like I might have left out something here. But no, I don't think I did actually. This should still work. But I think I did forget. So YEAR without a D. Yeah, Y is optional. Okay. Oh, well, that is EARY. So then that is the one that you search for year. Okay, so EARY. That was my year. And then you finally have EAR. And that one you can spell, it looks like R, and you can spell ear. I feel like I'm missing one here. It's probably this one. It's probably D. I should insert this here. DARY. Yeah, because you see, you can leave this optional. Oh, well, If we're saying E is required, then you're probably not going to find yard in there. So never mind that. So you're not going to see that. But if we look here, you do see R and obviously ear. And so we specified a minimum of these 3 letters. So irrespective of the order, you're going to have a minimum of 3 letters in your result. But let's say for whatever reason you wanted to make sure it was 4 letters. Well, you can use a regular expression. So refining the results. You can use a reg X. That's the easiest way to do it. So you say you want, let's say that, you're dealing with only letters here. You do this little caret, and you do 4 dots, and then you do a $sign. The caret means the start of the line. It needs to match whatever we see in the word list. This thing, it's the start of the line is going to be here, and so this will be the first character. And then second character, third character, fourth character. The dots represent a character, and then the $sign indicates the end of the line. And that's pretty standard in Unix-like operating systems, including Mac OS. So out of these, you would apply the filter results by regex. So that would mean it has to be 4 letters, which would narrow us down to these right here, dare, dear, and year. So we're going to say, okay, dare, see, these are more than 4 letters, so they would not fit with this pattern. This is called a pattern. And the reason I put the start and stop is if I didn't, it can match in different parts of the word, and you could run into some weird issues with false positive results. So I clamp it down with the beginning and end of the line or the string, if you will. So we're going to take our word list and refine it. So that gives us dare, dear, and year. Because see, the R and ear are only 3 letters. And so that's where we can bring in the 4-letter requirement. Because otherwise we have R and ear in there. And we may not be interested in that because it won't take us to a bonus tile or something, a bonus space. So that's the algorithm in a nutshell, and we'll take a look at the code, which is also out there on GitHub momentarily.